Good morning, everybody. It is Sunday morning, and I have a Desmond Tutu quote for you today. It is episode 656, and here it is. You know what? This is going to have different meaning for different people. So I'm not going to put any frame of reference around it. I'm just going to give you the quote, and I believe it's good just to sit and think about this because it's a wonderful quote. We need to stop just pulling people out the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they are falling in. Desmond Tutu. I'll say it again. We need to stop just pulling people out of a river. We need to go upstream and find out why they're falling in. Oh, do you know what? I'm going to give you one example. Right. One example is me. And if you, do you know, right, again, this is me being really vulnerable. Right. So when I was younger, 5 years, 6 years ago, I had a restaurant, and that restaurant did painfully bad, really bad. And my problem is that I didn't ever learn. And the reason I didn't ever learn was because my mum and dad, when I was younger, kept on being the safety net. So if I failed at something, if I did anything, then I knew, 1 second, I'll be back in 1 second, boys. I've got someone at the door. 1 second. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that. So basically, sorry about that. You guys, it literally was a second. Right. So, yeah, my mum and dad would always save me. No matter what happened, they would be the safety net. And I always knew that. And so therefore, I never really had to learn anything painfully. And it got to Lazo where I'd lost a lot of money. This restaurant, I lost a lot of money. And my mum and dad basically said, listen, we've got no more money to bail you out. And all of a sudden I was like, what the fuck? Oh no, I'm on my own. It's sink or swim. And we sank. I sank. But mum and dad, if they had the money, they would have propped me up. They would have supported me. They would have given me the cash and made sure that I didn't fail. Now that is not the right thing to do. That's pulling people out of the water. That is not going upstream to find out the reason why they're falling in. And so the best thing that my mum and dad ever did for me was let me fail. Now, they didn't let me fail on purpose. It just didn't, they had no control over it. So they had no control over it. They had to let me fail. They saw me. It must have been so painful for them because they couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't help me. The solution would have been more money, but they didn't have more money. But that was only the solution at the surface level. Now, I would never ever learn anything from that. And so the problem is with my mum and dad, but because they love me so much, they would always try to just pull me out the river. They would never, ever go upstream to see why I was falling in. And why would they? Why? It's a really difficult one for parents because you never, ever want to see your kids fail. You never, ever want to see your kids fall flat on the face. Like when they're climbing frame, you go careful, go careful, go careful. What we really should do is just allow them to find the boundaries and limits themselves and allow them to fall, allow them to hurt themselves because that's how they will learn. If you're the one catching them all the time when they fall, guess what? Not really learning a lesson. And that is a simple thing about going upstream and trying to find out the reason why they're falling in. Now, for me personally, it was a really painful 18 months. It was the worst 18 months of my life, even to the point where I thought my kids would be better off without me. And I contemplated committing suicide. The only time I ever have done in my life. And I thought the world would be better off without me. And I thought, yep, do you know what? Let's do it. Let's commit carry. Let's get out of here because I cannot be a good role model to my kids. And I genuinely thought that. And it was a horrible, horrible experience. It was painful. It was horrible. And it was just stressful, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me because then I had to reevaluate myself. I was allowed to fail. Mum and dad couldn't do anything about it, but I failed. I fell flat on my face. It was humbling. It was a horrible exercise. And the great thing is that I learned so much from that because I was allowed to smack myself, fall off that climbing frame, metaphorically, and smack myself in the face. And I got a bloody nose and I got all beat up. I felt real sorry for myself for a couple of months and, oh, woe is me. But then I got back on the horse. And the only reason I'm here where I am right now with a successful business, with a podcast, with everything in my life is because of that failure. Because then I could go upstream and I could find out the reason why I was falling in and doing some internal work. So you've got to be very, very careful. Although we want to love and support people, you don't just want to pull them out the river because they don't learn anything from it. So that was what I got from Desmond Tutu quotes and many, many other things as well. But it's a wonderful, wonderful quote, and you will place meaning to that yourself as well. What different meaning? You don't need to stop. We need to stop just pulling people out the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they are falling in. What a wonderful, wonderful quote that is. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really love that quote. I think it's beautiful, beautiful. Right, that's it for me. Tomorrow, we will talk about my week, what we've done, the successes, the failures, etc. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in. I love you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you soon.